The fire department is warning people about a scary and potentially dangerous situation in Golden Valley. The Golden Valley Fire Department got a call Thursday about power lines that were sparking and smoking near a home in the 1300 block of Florida Avenue North. You can hear and see the smoke coming off of the power line. Eventually, the pole caught on fire. The fire chief says the power lines were running through overgrown trees. He says those lines got tangled up and started an electrical short in the power lines.
We had people that were trying to drive through the area and walk through. We had to shut the road down. If you become aware, see snapping and popping and smoking power lines, that's not normal. Stay clear of that because that's hazardous.
Golden Valley firefighters had to wait for Xcel Energy to kill the electricity before they put out the fire. If you see a smoking or snapping line, stay away from it. Call 911. The newest elementary school in the Wayzata School District is almost ready to make its debut this September.
I'm very excited. When this first started, this project a year ago, we were driving through here and there were trucks and dumpsters and a lot of dirt, and now the school has really come together. We're actually ahead of schedule right now. Our building looks beautiful, and we're ready for the students.
Crews are now putting the finishing touches on Northwoods Elementary. The school sits on the northwest edge of Plymouth, and it was built to accommodate the growing population in that area. The building has 6 classrooms set aside for every grade level and can accommodate 800 students. Jenny Berg is excited to be the school's first principal.
It's really been an amazing opportunity to work with the construction company, to work with the architects, to work with my colleagues at Meadow Ridge that opened a brand new school in 2016. It really has been a dream come true.
Northwoods was built to resemble nearby Meadow Ridge Elementary, with the main difference being that this school has 10 additional classrooms. A local high school student will be a part of some championship boat racing this weekend. Eric Nelson has a story of a Wayzata student's quest to win a big regional title.
The land of 10,000 lakes is a perfect spot for Kate Ness to grow up.
Yeah, it's really surreal.
The Wayzata high school student is on the water almost as much as Minnesota's iconic loons. Kate competes in the Inland Lake Yachting Association X-Boat Youth Championship.
It's an amazing thing to experience. It's going to be great weather, and there'll be hundreds of boats out there. It's just an incredible thing to see, and it's just so competitive.
The event takes place on Lake Minnetonka. 230 of the top youth sailors from 8 states will be racing.
We get out there at like 10, come in for lunch at noon, and then we go back out. So we'll probably be sailing for 5 hours each day, and the races are roughly an hour each.
Kate has been sailing for 7 years now. Her boat has a crew of 2, and she will compete in the senior fleet.
I think it's a lot more physical than people might even think, especially when it's windy.
Her role is to drive the yacht and trim the main sail.
I mean, it's kind of an experience that no other sport you can get, because you're on the lake, you're in the water, and you have like all the elements.
The lake scene is heaven for Kate. Sailing under a royal blue sky and puffy white clouds is the ideal way to spend her day.
In the moment, you're very focused on competing, but after you kind of like look back on it and you're like, wow, it's just an amazing feeling, especially when you get going fast. It's just an amazing feeling to have the wind in your face and the waves.
Sailing into the X-Boat Regatta Winner's Circle would be the ultimate accomplishment for Ness and her crew.
You don't know what's going to happen that day, and you never know what you're going to experience.
Kate's passion for sailing actually began in landlocked Iowa. She picked up the sport while visiting her grandma as a kid down in Lake Okoboji. On Lake Minnetonka, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
The Youth Sailing Championships run through Saturday. Stages Theater Company is offering up a sweet summer treat with its version of Willy Wonka. Neil Persley snuck into the candy factory for a peek in today's Weekend Showcase.
There is no life I know to compare with your imagination.
A lot of people have strong feelings about what Willy Wonka is, and they want to see Gene Wilder or or they grew up with the Johnny Depp version, which is a little bit scary. So the biggest challenge I had was finding what's the Stages version, how do we honor what the story is, but make it our own.
And Stages Theater has done just that with their production of Roald Dahl's Willy Wonka. Logan Bitsdom said his Willy Wonka icon was Gene Wilder, and he draws a lot on his persona. He also enjoys the throwback approach to fantasy that the show takes.
We live in a sort of pop culture world right now where fantasy means like dragons and magic and all those sort of things. So bringing back our world of fantasy that we are presenting here at Stages as kind of, you know, like old movie magic, old song and dance magic has been super fun.
The story of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is familiar. All the characters are represented with a few variations. One character which is lovably recognizable is the spoiled little rich girl, Veruca Salt.
She has never had any struggles, and so when something doesn't go her way, she gets very angry about it until it does. If you're not greedy, you will go far.
And the Oompa Loompas do not disappoint.
For me, it's all about the Oompa Loompas. Oompa Loompas were the first minions.
For Weekend Showcase, from Stages Theater, Neil Persley, CCX News.
Willy Wonka runs through Sunday, August 4th at the Hopkins Center for the Arts. In Robbinsdale, pets and people joined up for a parade. And this was the scene on Thursday night at the Pet and Wheel Parade. We'll leave you with some of the sights and sounds as we go to break.
Wayzata and Excelsior are two of the top seeds in the Sub-State 4 American Legion playoffs, and they are two of the best teams in the state as well. And they met up in the winner's bracket final of that tourney on Thursday. Bottom of the third inning with a runner in scoring position, and Wayzata center fielder Cullen Stamp saving a run here, laying out and making the catch. Excelsior does lead it to 1-0 after 3. Same score in the fifth inning. Will Sturrock up the plate, and a singles pass short and into center field. A run scores, and Excelsior takes a 2-0 lead. Later in the same inning, with Nick Timpson at the plate, there's a wild pitch on ball 4, scoring John Hansen. And Excelsior has another run to make it 3-0. Wayzata gets one back in the 6th. With the bases loaded, Brennan Albert hits one to center field. Michael Sturrock reaches up to make the catch. Keegan Nickel comes in to score, and Wayzata is on the board of 3-1. But that is all they get. A big strikeout here ends the 6th, stranding 2 runners. Will Sturrock comes in to close it out. Excelsior wins 3-1 to advance to Saturday's final. Wayzata is playing Hopkins in an elimination game at this taping of CCX News. High school coaches are allowed to work with their athletes through the end of July, and pretty much every team has some kind of summer training program. We caught up with one team in Maple Grove last week.
4 mornings a week for most of June and July, the Maple Grove gym is filled with the sounds of basketball. It's all part of getting ready for a high school season that is still 4 months away.
I think it helped a lot, just development with the team, and then also just getting a better connection with the girls, because we have newer girls coming in, and just getting like our rhythm together before the season.
It really helps, I think. Just our chemistry is getting a lot better, and just working together at the beginning of the summer to the end, it just helps so much.
Head coach Mark Cook has been part of the Crimson team for 15 years now. Their summer training program has evolved.
It's changed a lot since year one. You know, I mean, I think the amount of time we've spent in the gym, the incorporation of the weight room into what we do in the summer has all evolved since my first year. We've learned from other coaches, learned from other programs, and you know, just tried to figure out what works best for our kids and their schedules. And our numbers have grown. This is our biggest summer by far.
Returning varsity players not only work on their own skill development, but make sure they help guide the program's middle school girls as well.
for us older kids because there's not many of us since we only have one senior this year. So we're really trying to get the juniors and sophomores to bring up these 7th and 8th graders and teach them young so we can be better in the future.
Just helping them with whatever we can. They're also helping us too, you know. It just goes both ways.
November will be here soon enough. These girls believe that lessons learned in July can translate into more success on the court in the long winter ahead.
Girls basketball wrapped up their summer training Thursday. Shannon, back to you.
All right, thanks, John. Students who return to class at Robbinsdale Middle School this fall will be in for a surprise. Thursday, volunteers from the school and from Home Depot came out to landscape the front of the school with shrubs, perennials, and more. Students and teachers applied for and received a $1,500 grant for the project. Organizers say this is a way to make the school entrance more welcoming and engage students in the garden.
Humanities classes could observe wildlife, and that we can get groups of students out here helping out to keep it up so that it continues to look as beautiful as it will soon.
They said the students were probably driving more of it than anybody. They were excited about the project. They wanted to see a change to the front of their school, and they wanted to be involved in that. And so we embraced that wholeheartedly.
And they got it done in a day. But rest assured, students and teachers out there, there's still about a month of summer left before school begins on September 3rd.